Let's make some chili, shall we? What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Into the Pit Barbecue. I'm your host, Pitmaster Ryan Lilly. Now today, I'm going to show you guys another comfort classic, chili. It's getting cool outside. Let's make a pot of chili. I'll show you guys how to do that. So I'll show you what I got here. I got 6 ancho chilies, 2 guajillo chilies, 2 pasilla chilies, and 4 chili de arbol. I took the stems off and I took the seeds out of those. I also got an onion chopped up, 3 cloves of garlic, about 1.5 pounds of beef stew meat. I don't like to use ground beef. There's too much fat. I like leaner, and I like a chunk of meat. And then I got a teaspoon each of cumin, smoked paprika, cinnamon, and unsweetened cocoa powder, and a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We're also going to put some salt and pepper, and then some other veggies we got. We got some fire roasted diced tomatoes, we got some black beans, and we got some dark red kidney beans, and we also got some beef stock that's going to be our liquid. So the first thing we got to do is make the base, the chili base. So we're going to take those dried chilies, we're going to toast them up in a pan, reconstitute them for about 20 minutes, and then we'll blend those up in the blender, and that'll be our flavor base for the chili, and then we can brown up the meat and the onions and all that kind of stuff, and then put it together. We'll let it simmer for hour, hour and a half, maybe a couple hours or so, probably about an hour, and yeah, and then it should be good to go, and I'll show you what we top it with too. Okay, toast your chilies. To reconstitute these, what you gotta do is you put them in a dry skillet, and you do it about 30 seconds over the dry heat. And once you start to really smell that smell of chilies, then you gotta flip them all over, and you add water, enough water to cover the chilies. Take them off the heat and cover them, and let that, like, once that water comes to boil, cover them, and then take them off the heat and let them slowly reconstitute in the water. And then we're going to take them out of that water, rinse them off. Wow, it's down a little bit. Wear a gas mask with this stuff. We're only going to toast them for about 30 seconds, but they're getting pretty strong. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. And then once they get reconstituted, we can rinse them off, and we can put them in the blender with a little clean water. So you got about 2 cups of water. We're going to let that kind of come to a boil. Make sure there's water in all these peppers, all these chilies. We'll blend them up, and that'll be our flavor base for the chili. So that's going to sit in that water. Once that water comes up to boil, it'll sit in that water for about 20 minutes covered, and then we can clean them, rinse them off, and put them in the blender. If you saw my brisket chili video that I did a few months back, this is the exact same process. An exact same variety of chilies that I used in that also. So I'm going to let this come up to a boil, then I'm going to cover it, let it sit for 20 minutes, and then I'll show you the rest of the process. Alright, so while our chilies are reconstituting, we're going to get all the rest of it. So got about 1.5 pounds of beef stew meat. I got some olive oil in the pan. Oh yeah, don't you love that sizzle? All that beef in the pan, in the pot. We're going to get this nice brown. Alright, so you got to give that a little kosher salt. And that's all we're seasoning the meat with. The other spices are going to go in along with the onions. So we're going to bloom all those spices up. Just get a little brown in that meat because it's going to finish cooking in the chili. This chili recipe was one of the first recipes I developed on my own. So it may not be a handed down several generations or whatever, but this is my recipe of chili. I developed this recipe after I'd gone to a Tex-Mex restaurant. And I had a sour cream chicken enchilada with a black bean and corn salsa on top. And I thought, how great would a chili be with black beans and corn? So yeah, there's also frozen corn in here, a whole bag of frozen corn. So then, through tweaking it over the years, I've also added dark red kidney beans. I like the difference in texture and that you get with the different kinds of beans. Well, this chili-based recipe, I got this idea after doing the brisket chili a few months back. If you saw that video, I thought it had a lot more of a complex flavor than just using straight-up prepared chili powder. So I thought that would make a better chili if I did that. So this meat's almost brown. Little bit of pink left, but we'll not going to be cooked through here in the pan. We're in the pot. We're going to cook it through when the chili simmers for about an hour, and then yeah, I'm really excited to eat this. This is one of my favorite recipes to do in the fall or in the winter. I also make a green chili with pork. I'm going to show you guys that in sometime in the near future. But this one is a red chili. It's not a Texas-based chili. I have beans, I have tomatoes in it, but it's just a great recipe. So it's awesome. I love chili. One of my favorite things to eat. All right, so this meat looks like it's brown. So now I'm going to take it out and put it on a platter until we're ready to put it back in the pot once the chili is assembled. So this is some nice stew meat. This would be nice and tender. Oh yeah, we also thicken this chili. I like to thicken my chili a little bit with some crushed up tortilla chips. I'm just going to add a little bit of that corn flavor and a little bit of salt. It adds fantastic flavor. I used to thicken chili when I was a kid with saltine crackers because that was all we had. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, why don't I just do tortilla chips? That would be even better. And it turns out it is better. It's way better. Alright, so that's the last, should be the last of the meat here. Next couple pieces. Alright, so now let's set that off to the side. And we got onions. We'll go in. We got one roughly medium chopped onion. And it's going to get all those beef drippings from the beef cooking. Alright, let that go just a little bit. And then we'll also add our spices and let those kind of bloom. And that brings out a lot more flavor. Now, you might think it's weird that I add stuff like cinnamon and unsweetened cocoa powder, but they really act as a spice. The cinnamon balances off any of the heat from the chilies and the cayenne pepper. And the cocoa powder just kind of brings everything together really well. So, alright, now our onions are going. these spices. And you stir it up, and immediately that smell, once the spices hit the heat, it smells absolutely phenomenal. It's like now you know you're making chili. This is kind of the idea I got this from, was like Indian cooking. Where they always let, like curry powders and stuff, they let the spices bloom a little bit. I'm going to turn the heat down. I don't want those spices to burn. Oh, it smells phenomenal. Alright, now we can add our 3 cloves of chopped garlic. Alright, yeah, this is smelling really, really good. Alright, we got about 8 more minutes on our chilies, the dried, reconstituted chilies. So now, take that off the heat. You don't want anything, that garlic or those spices, to burn. And we're going to add back all of our beef. Okay. Now, we have all our canned vegetables. So, we got some canned fire roasted diced tomatoes. I like using the fire roasted ones. I think they add that cooked all day kind of flavor. We've got some black beans. And add the liquid too. I know a lot of people will rinse off beans when they use canned beans. I don't. When I'm making chili, I like to use the liquid too, because all that liquid is going to add flavor to your final chili. So same thing with the dark red kidney beans. We got some beef stock or beef broth. Now I'm just going to wait on those chilies, those reconstituted chilies. Once those are ready, I will show you how we're going to rinse those off and get them in the blender with a little bit of water. And then that'll go in as our main flavor base for this chili. So, see you guys in a little while. Alright, our chilies have been reconstituting for about 20 minutes. Let's take this lid off and let's see how soft these things are. Oh yeah, they're nice and soft. Alright, so what you want to do is get some cold water and just kind of rinse them off in the cold water. And then stick them in the blender. Yeah, starting to see more of the natural red color of the chilies. And your water is going to turn a little red too. That's no big deal. Nice and soft. Then we're also going to add about a cup of water to the blender to help these this chili base blend up. So you got your chili de arbol, your pasillas, your guajillos, and chili ancho. Most of these chilies aren't very spicy. The anchos and the pasillas are like a raisin. The only one that's really, really spicy is the chili de arbol. And those, it's a similar heat to like cayenne. Not terribly hot, but it's going to add some nice flavor to our chili base. So as you can see, the water is getting like a golden color from these chilies. Softened up nicely. Just rinse them off in cold water. And get them into the blender. Yeah, get that nice red kind of smoky color from the anchos. The anchos are a dried version of poblanos, which are the big green, dark green ones that are great for like chile relleno. But when they're fully ripened and they're dried, they get like a raisiny kind of flavor, and then they become ancho chilies. Alright, we got one more. Rinse off any seeds or anything that's left over. Alright, and one more pasilla. Softened up nicely. They're kind of leathery when they're really dry, so. Alright. We got a cup of water. Clean water. Don't use this stuff, the golden stuff. All right, let's get these blended. All right, so here we go. All right, let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's nice and thick. Oh, that's pretty strong. All right, now we're gonna mix this into the rest of our chili. All right, so we got the rest of our chili here: are beef, beans and tomatoes and onions and garlic. Let's pour that wonderful chili base in there. So you can do this. I mean, you can obviously make a chili with just, adding a lot of chili powder. But I think you get more complex flavors. You get a deeper, richer flavor if you make a chili base like this. It gives you that nice mahogany color that is so good with chili. Alright, so now we've got a pretty thick stew here. What we're going to do to thin it out just a little bit, probably not even use a whole box, but we got some beef broth, reduced sodium beef broth, by the way. Don't use the full stuff. All right, let's see how we're looking. All right, I mean, it's starting to look and smell like chili, so I'm going to add a little bit more beef broth. Yeah, we'll add the whole box. There ain't much left. Alright. So then we got a whole bag of some gold and white corn. You can use, I like to use frozen corn. It's available all year long. If you're making chili, if you happen to be making chili during the summer and you can get fresh corn, go for it. But most of the time, I make chili. I'm not making chili during the summer. I'm making it in the fall and winter, so fresh corn is not really available. You could use canned corn. I've done that before, too. I prefer using the frozen stuff. Alright, now we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to reduce to a simmer. So then once it's simmering, then we'll let it go for about an hour or so. And once we get it to a boil, then I'm going to add some crushed up tortilla chips, and that'll help thicken it just a little bit. Alright, so the chili came up to a boil. I reduced it to a simmer. And I also added a handful of crushed tortilla chips. Those are going to kind of melt and dissolve into the chili, help thicken it up a little bit. I also added some kosher salt, seasoned it to taste, and now it's great. I mean, it's got amazing flavor, nice deep flavor. It's got a great amount of heat, which I like. I think a chili's got to have some sort of heat. But that'll be cut down a little bit when we add sour cream and cheese as garnishes. So now I'm just going to let this cook for probably about an hour, hour and a half or so. And yeah, then once I'm ready to plate it up, I'll show you guys what I do to garnish it. Alright, the chili has simmered for about an hour and a half or so. I stirred it occasionally just to make sure nothing stuck to the bottom. So now to garnish, we got some shredded cheddar cheese. It's going to help cut some of that heat that's in there because it is pretty spicy, but I like spicy chili. Then you also got a nice dollop of sour cream and some pico de gallo. I like that fresh tomato and onion going in there. There's cooked tomatoes and there's cooked onions, but it's always nice to have that fresh stuff in there. And I like to mix that all up. Let's get a picture of that first, because it's a beautiful bowl of chili. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice pop of color there. Nice. Okay, so mix that all in. And sour cream is going to kind of thicken it up a little bit. Cut some of that heat that's in there. And then I'm also going to put some more crushed up tortilla chips for that salty crunch and to thicken it up even more. I like pretty thick chili, but not too thick. I don't want like, a porridge or something. Still want kind of a soupy consistency. So I love these Tostitos Cantina Thins tortilla chips. You get the thin and crispy ones, and they kind of melt into the soup, which is really nice. Melt into your chili. Just give them a good crush. I don't do it too fine. I like some texture there. Alright. Let's go sit down and give this chili a taste. Alright everybody, let's give this chili a taste. I'm really excited about this. I've been craving chili so bad lately. Oh yeah. The earthy flavors from some of those chilies and spices. Beans. The meat is super tender. Chips give a nice crunch. There's a little bit of heat, but not too bad with the sour cream and the cheese. You get that creamy texture from the two kinds of beans. That's some phenomenal chili. That's absolutely delicious.
Low power. Low power.
You guys like what I'm doing? Hit the video with a thumbs up. Hit that bell icon. Get notified every time I come out with a new video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel also. And yeah, thanks for all the support. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you next time.